What if I told you that the very moment you stopped making excuses, miracles began? At 3:47 a.m., Marcus sat in his car outside the emergency room, holding a termination letter in one hand and divorce papers in the other. He had lost everything in a single day. But what happened next would prove that sometimes rock bottom becomes the solid foundation on which we build our greatest comeback. This is the story of how a 28-year-old man went from homeless and hopeless to building a multi-million-dollar company in just 18 months. But here's what nobody tells you about transformation stories. They all start with a single decision that feels impossible to make. The decision that changes everything. Marcus Rodriguez thought he had life figured out. Marketing manager at a Fortune 500 company, beautiful wife, suburban house with a white picket fence. The American dream, right? But success built on shaky foundations is just a castle in the sand, waiting for the first wave to wash it away. For 3 years, Marcus had been playing it safe. Showing up, doing the minimum, making excuses. I'll start that side business next month. I'll work out when things slow down. I'll fix my marriage when the pressure at work decreases. There's an ancient teaching that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. But Marcus kept waiting for the perfect season. But success has a way of exposing our weaknesses, not covering them up. While Marcus was making excuses externally, internally, his world was crumbling. Empty bed, ignored phone calls, stack of bills. His wife Sarah had been trying to tell him for months. They were drifting apart. His boss had been giving him warning signs. His performance was declining. His body had been sending signals: stress, exhaustion, disconnection from purpose. And then came the day when all his excuses ran out of time. One day, Marcus gets called into his boss's office. Due to company restructuring, the words felt like slow motion. 15 minutes later, he's walking to his car with a cardboard box and a termination letter. He walks into his house, ready to tell Sarah they'd get through this together. Instead, he finds divorce papers on the kitchen counter and a note. "I can't watch you give up on yourself anymore. I'm staying at my sister's." But what Marcus didn't know was that this moment, this absolute rock bottom, was about to become the catalyst for the most extraordinary transformation you've ever witnessed. For 3 days, Marcus didn't leave his house. Pizza boxes stacked up, curtains drawn, phone on silent. This is where most people stay. This is where excuses feel justified. Life is unfair. I never had a real chance. It's too late to start over. But there's a principle that warriors throughout history have understood. In the midst of winter, I found there was, within me, an invincible summer. Marcus was about to discover his. Day 4, 3 a.m. Marcus found himself in that parking lot outside the emergency room, not because of any physical injury, but because he realized he was watching his own life die while he was still breathing. He looked at those papers in his hands, symbols of everything he had lost. And for the first time in years, Marcus asked himself a different question. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" he asked, "Why is this happening for me?" That question changed everything, because suddenly Marcus realized that every excuse he'd been making wasn't protecting him. It was imprisoning him. This was the moment everything shifts for Marcus. At that moment, he pulled out his phone and started recording himself right there in that parking lot. "My name is Marcus Rodriguez. I'm 28 years old. I just lost my job and my wife in the same day, and I'm done making excuses." There's an Eastern philosophy that teaches, when you let go of what you are, you become what you might be. Marcus was about to discover what he might be. Day 5, Marcus woke up at 5 a.m. for the first time in years, not because he had to, but because he chose to. Day 6, he applied for his first freelance project, even though imposter syndrome was screaming in his head. Day 7, he sent Sarah a text, not asking her to come back, but thanking her for caring enough about his potential to refuse to watch him waste it. Week 1, Marcus turned his spare bedroom into a home office. No excuses about not having the right space. Week 3, his first client paid him $500 for a project that took him 6 hours. He'd been making excuses about not having enough time, but suddenly he had nothing but time. But here's where the story gets really interesting, because success wasn't coming fast enough, and old Marcus started whispering. Month 2, 3 clients became 6, 6 became 12. Marcus was working 14-hour days, but for the first time it didn't feel like work. There's a timeless truth that says, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. Marcus was living this truth. Month 4, his first $10,000 month. He called his dad, who hadn't believed in his internet business. His dad cried on the phone. Month 6, Sarah reached out, not to reconcile, but to say she was proud of who he was becoming. Month 8, Marcus's biggest client, responsible for 60% of his income, suddenly cancelled their contract. His old self would have seen this as confirmation that taking risks was foolish. But this is where we discover what Marcus had really learned during those months of transformation. Eastern philosophy teaches that the obstacle is the way. Instead of seeing this setback as a wall, Marcus saw it as a doorway to something better. Within 24 hours, Marcus had a radical idea. Instead of replacing one big client, what if he created a product that could serve hundreds of clients simultaneously? He spent the next 72 hours building his first online course, From Corporate to Freedom, the blueprint for building your escape plan. The course launched on a Tuesday morning in July. Marcus had pre-sold it to his email list of 847 people. He expected maybe 50 sales if he was lucky. By Wednesday evening, he had made $127,000 in 36 hours. But here's the thing about miracles. They don't happen to people who make excuses. They happen to people who make room. There's an ancient principle. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But Marcus learned that opportunities are always appearing. We're just usually too busy making excuses to notice them. Month 12, Marcus hit his first $1 million year. Month 15, he hired his first employee. Month 18, he moved into a downtown loft that he paid for in cash. But the real transformation wasn't in his bank account. Sarah agreed to meet him for coffee on the anniversary of their divorce papers. She looked at him and said, "You're completely different. It's like you died and someone else came back." Marcus smiled and said, "That's exactly what happened. The person who made excuses died in that parking lot. The person sitting here makes room for miracles." Eastern wisdom teaches that we must die many deaths in one lifetime. Each time we shed a version of ourselves that no longer serves us, we are reborn into who we're meant to become. But here's what Marcus learned that will change how you see every challenge in your life. The miracle wasn't that his business succeeded. The miracle was that he became the type of person who could succeed. Every excuse you make is a vote for the person you used to be. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. The ancient masters knew this. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your excuses are habits. Your miracles can be habits too. Marcus's story isn't special because he's special. It's special because he stopped believing that being ordinary was his only option. Right now, as you're watching this, you have the same choice Marcus had in that parking lot. You can keep making excuses for why your dreams have to wait, or you can start making room for miracles. I want you to pause this video right now. Look around you. Look at your life. What excuses have you been making? What would be possible if you stopped making them tomorrow? Marcus isn't watching this video. He's living the life that he once thought was impossible. The question isn't whether miracles are real. The question is, are you ready to stop making excuses and start making room for it to happen? There's a saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Your moment is now. Your miracle is waiting. Winners don't make excuses. They make room for miracles. If Marcus's story spoke to you, if you're ready to stop making excuses and start making room, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Someone who's sitting in their own parking lot, holding their own termination letters, wondering if it's too late to change everything. It's not too late, it never is. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop making excuses. Subscribe if you're ready to make room for miracles. Your transformation story starts now. Your miracle is waiting. Stop making excuses. Start making room for you to grow and become a winner in life.